So last week, I suggested that we split our country into two nations because, in my opinion, there's no turning back from where we are. I've never seen America so divided in my entire life, and it just gets worse and worse by the day. If you think about it, we're constantly feeding our minds with conflicting sources of information, and each side thinks the other side is brainwashed. There's almost no overlap on what we believe is true anymore, and there's certainly no baseline agreement of how we can move the country forward. So we're just living in two parallel realities. Take COVID, for example. Look where I'm at right now. I'm alone in nature with no mask on, and I haven't been vaccinated. But at least half the country doesn't even think I should have left my house without my face covered. They also think I should have to get vaccinated just to go back to normal life. I shouldn't be allowed to fly, go to a concert or a restaurant without showing a vaccine passport. And I have a problem with that, because if anybody should have got that virus over the last year, it should have been me. I crisscrossed the country, went to dozens of cities, flew on dozens of airplanes, sitting in close proximity to strangers, breathing in the same circulated air. I went to dozens of rallies with tens of thousands of maskless people, and I never got sick. Now, I'm not saying COVID isn't real, but what I'm saying is I trust my immune system to defeat a virus with a 99% survival rate. And if you want to get vaccinated and wear a mask, go for it. More power to you. But don't force me to do it. And don't call me an anti-vaxxer because I have questions about the ongoing narrative. That's not just it, though. It's not just COVID. It's climate change, right? How long have they been fear-mongering about climate change? 50 years? All these doomsday prophecies about how the world is going to end have not come to fruition. It's just constant fear-mongering, lecturing about how we need to move away from fossil fuels, start eating synthetic beef, and if you disagree, you're a climate change denier. So they shut down our debate. They don't want people talking about it. You're not allowed to discuss the wedge issues that continue to drive us apart because you'll just get labeled. And it just continues. So how can we coexist when we're not even having discussions? You'll get censored on social media because we all know they put their thumb on the scale. If you don't support the ongoing mainstream narratives, you'll be deplatformed, and half the country will applaud it. They'll applaud if you are put on a no-fly list. They'll applaud if the FBI investigates you because they think you're a domestic terrorist. And if you disagree that America is systemically racist, well, guess what? That means you're a racist yourself. So I'm sorry, but I just can't coexist with people who think I'm evil just because I disagree. We've completely abandoned the principle of live and let live. Now it's live how I tell you to live. And while it may be impractical and unrealistic to split into two nations now, that doesn't mean it's impossible. It's already kind of happening if you think about it. Look at the census report. Anybody that's been paying attention should not be surprised that there's a mass exodus from blue states to red states. Their cities aren't safe. The taxes are too high. The COVID restrictions make it impossible to live a normal life. And so they're going to red states like Florida, Texas, North Carolina, and Arizona. So we're becoming increasingly geographically divided. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that we could split into two nations. But either way it goes, what we're doing right now is completely unsustainable. And I'm all for splitting America into two nations.